Thanks, everybody, for coming out to another Windshield time at Mountainland Supply. I'm Joey. I'm here with our CEO, Brandon Johnson, and our producer of sorts, Mr. Shorts. He's agreed to be quiet the entire time, and we appreciate that. So today we have another topic we're going to talk to you about that some of you may know a lot about, some of you may know very little about, but you've all probably seen something mentioning it on some of our, the website or, flyers that are hanging around your branch, and that is Peaks Rewards. So Peaks Rewards is a program that we put in place probably about 11 years ago now. It's prior to Peaks Rewards, we didn't really have a reward system that we had for our customers as they would purchase from us. It was kind of, hey, we'll pick the top few, and at one point we did fishing trips to Mexico, and we've always kind of done, we take them to a Jazz game or a Utah game or whatever. But we didn't have anything that was a real program. And about 11 years ago, we went through a rebranding, and part of that rebranding is where we ended up hiring Tim White from. He had a company that he worked for called Opening the Next Door. I mean, don't tell him this. I mean, he's going to hear it, but that's a really crappy name. But Tim is a genius.
We love you, Tim.
He's a marketing genius. And he actually was in charge of rebranding Maverick. So if you guys have seen the Maverick stores and how they went through a huge rebranding, about 15 years ago, that was the collective genius of Tim and his company and his partners. So they went through that, and then they came over here, helped us rebrand, and really revitalize who we are as a company and how we go to market. And part of that effort was that we needed to have a rewards program. We needed to have an incentive for people to continue to do good business with us and not just share that business with somebody else. So in order to keep that market share with those customers, we created a reward system called Peaks Rewards. And it started out as just a cruise, and boy, has it grown from there.
Holy cow.
I mean, there is so many opportunities for customers to come and enjoy experiences with us. And really, our go-to-market strategy is we want to find ways to strengthen the relationships that we have with our customers, not just reward them with a gift card. We want to share an experience with them because we know that if we can get with our customers and create that bond with them, then we're all going to be successful. They will be more successful, and we will in turn be more successful because they are.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, you're asking a finance guy about marketing stuff. Which
That's why I asked the question.
So I joke around, and Tim hopefully will laugh at this when he hears this, if he listens to this. I always push on a finance guy. Marketing is the hardest thing in a business to be able to say, okay, you want to spend X amount. What's my ROI on that? What's my return on investment?
Because you can't tie it to a direct revenue number.
You can't. So really, when it comes to spending marketing dollars from a finance perspective, for me, I had to get really comfortable with a high-level idea of it. Okay, does it make sense? And who's running it? Do I trust the person? And so that's really Tim White, trusting Tim White. And over the years, my trust for him has grown immensely to the point that, our budget for this, I'll say it's multi-million dollars is what we spend on everything in the marketing department. But we need to do that. But to entrust Tim with that kind of a budget, I mean, it says a lot about who he is and what he does and his character to be able to say, hey, Tim, we trust you with this. And he does a phenomenal job. I am not a marketing person. I will tell anybody and everybody that. I'll be the first one to tell you that my mind does not work like that. I am a black and white numbers kind of a guy. Mm-hmm. And so when I sit around Tim and Joey, you're very much like that as well. Your mind goes that way too on the marketing side. You guys are just phenomenal with that. And Tim has done a really good job with our brand to the point of people can just recognize our mountains. Yeah. It doesn't have to have anything else but just the mountains, and they know, oh, that's Mountainland.
By the way, they are trademarked.
Yes, they are. Yeah. They are. We know that because went through the process to get that done, and we've had to actually enforce it.
We've had to defend it.
Yep. And from an accounting perspective, if you can't enforce it, then it's worth nothing to you. But we've been able to enforce it, so there is a value to it. So
remember a couple of years ago when that guy actually had our mountains and Mountainland?
Yeah.
And it was like an installer up in Idaho.
Wasn't it like a flooring guy or something?
Yeah,
like
it was
that?
like Mountainland hardwood flooring, but he had our exact logo on his door.
Yeah. And but what happened was, how we found out about it is one of our customers.
Yeah, they're like, "You guys are doing flooring now?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
They saw the mountains and they're like, "Whoa, you guys are doing that?"
Which isn't a far stretch because we get into some weird crap. So, I mean, it's fair.
We've done some weird stuff, but that one, no, we're not into flooring. We haven't done that one, but tons of credit goes to Tim to be able to set that up, to be able to have that in. So great job. And so back to the Peak Rewards, though, I mean, that goes hand in hand with our marketing, and it's this is our company. And so, being 100% honest with everybody and transparent, a lot of money goes into Peak Rewards. But Joe, you hit it spot on. Why we do it. You could look at that and say it's just throwing money out there that we get no benefit from. And it can be, if you don't do it right, it
Absolutely.
can be. And there's a lot of companies that do that. Do I feel like we do that? Not necessarily. I feel like when we look at these, like for the trips, for examples, or the experiences, we push Tim quite a bit to make sure, asking questions about how is this going to help us build a better relationship with the customer? How is, this kind of experience? For example, if you go on a trip with some customers, we're always making sure is, okay, how do we get more touches with that customer? Now, a cruise, for example, I'm going to use, I won't say we'll never do a cruise, but I do not like cruises.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
for this specific thing.
Me personally, I'm not a cruise guy, but I like to go on a cruise. I've done one with the family, and I thought it was pretty dang cool. I loved it because I could send my kids off, and I didn't have to really worry about them, and I got a vacation, I felt like. But from this perspective, from Peak Rewards, it's really hard because I remember I did one time, and I kid you not, we're walking down, the jet bridge to get on the airplane to go over to this cruise, and I found a customer, and I talked to him and chatted him up and everything like that. I did not see that guy until we got off the cruise and we were on the jet bridge getting on the plane to come home. And it was one of those that's like, well, so how was your trip? How did you like it? I didn't see you the whole entire week. Hoped you liked it. And, thanks for coming out.
There's just too many places to hide on a cruise ship.
And that's not what it's meant to do. Yeah. It's meant to help further build the relationship with the customer.
Yeah.
And so getting them into certain, how do I put it? Situations, environments. Those could be really great for building those relationships, and sometimes they're not. So you have to be really careful. And Tim is all for making sure that we build those relationships. And how do we get that? Making them unique, intimate, things of that nature. Tim understands that customer experience really, really well, in my opinion. And so he does a phenomenal job with that. And so we spend the money, but we try and spend it in the right way to be able to help with that.
Yeah, when we talk about building relationships, there is a purpose behind that. It's not just to, make them beholden to us, they're our friend now, they can buy from us. They need to buy from us. We've got them in a corner because we're their buddy. That's really not the intent of it. The intent is, if you're close to somebody, they'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And getting honest feedback so that we can improve our business and it can help our customers, that to me is the most important reason that we have these opportunities with them. They number one are some of our very best customers that are going on these, experiences with us. But you have that quiet time with them away from the business where you can get honest feedback and you can say, listen, you don't have to sugarcoat it for me. If we're broken someplace or if we need to adjust something, please tell me, because the last thing that I want to do is to be going merrily through life thinking I'm doing something right, and the whole time I'm screwing up.
Yeah.
And I'm putting more resources behind the screwing up.
Yeah.
And if I need to adjust or we need to pivot, that is the time when you can tell me that stuff.
I think you and I are similar. There's times that I come off these trips and I have a list.
Oh yeah, for
of
sure.
Like, here's things that we're not doing
That we can work on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And anyways, they're good experiences. They're tiring experiences for the employees, and a lot of just to let everybody know, before we go on any of these trips or anything like that, we have a sit down with all the employees, and we let them know that this is a work trip. This is not a vacation for you.
Yeah.
I've walked away from these trips. Joey, you have too, that I know, and it takes so much out of you.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy out of you, and you're just drained.
Yeah.
So, but they're good experiences, and I've been able to build so many relationships with our customers and be able to get that feedback and just information to be able to better our business and their business as well.
Yep.
So,
yeah, we're not asking for anybody to feel sorry for us because we get to go to some really, really fun destinations, but you just need to know that we're not wasting your money.
yeah.
And we are doing it very carefully. We negotiate very hard, Tim especially, to get us a very good price. Although you have to understand also that travel is counterintuitive, and you will spend more per person to go and take 50 people than you will to take 5 people. People don't realize that. They're like, oh man, well, you're taking 100 people. Why don't you get a better break? Because our 100 people are paying so that those 10 people can get a price break. That's the way travel works.
Oh man.
And it really sucks, but that's the nature of the beast. So
I thought, being a finance guy, I thought that it would be like, well, crap, if we're taking this many people.
Where's the price breaks?
Yeah. And when, there was a part of me at the beginning that thought, oh, well, if we're taking this many, then we could like charter an airplane, right? And it should be cheaper. No, it's not cheaper. It's more expensive because now you're paying for all the first class seats and everything like that.
You're paying for all of it.
So it's like, well, this is stupid. This doesn't make sense. So we could probably have like a 30-minute podcast, or
just
probably
on the
longer,
pricing.
probably 3 hour,
Yeah.
just on travel and how stupid it is.
Mm-hmm.
But totally agree with you. It's we're not asking to cry a river or give us have pity for us, but it is. I just want people to know, like, we work on those. Those are work trips.
And those other employees, salespeople, sales managers, branch management, people who are asked to go on those trips, they work their butts off.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay on for that amount of time because you're going for sometimes 9 days.
Yeah.
And you have to be on for your customers. They don't get to see you having a bad day. You're sunburnt. Some people are hungover, and you get to wake up that next morning and you don't get to act like you're sunburned or hungover. No. You put your game face on and you do it for your customer. That's hard sometimes.
It is. It takes a lot out of you, and it's just jumping around. I mean, you're at the beck and order of anybody, and what do you want? And let me help you and get that done. And
that's what we do.
And you know what? We put a smile on our face and we do it.
Yeah, because the customers deserve to have us at our best.
Exactly. And it's by the way, we do have help on that. We do have a phenomenal partner, Ren, out there. We are bringing a new one called Destination, so I'll put a shout out to those 2 companies out there. And they do a really good job at it. I just had an experience where I just came back after a week and we didn't have a representative. I'm going to tell you right now, they're
worth it.
Because you're dealing with the transports, you're dealing with the hotel management, you're dealing with, buses. It's just so many people losing luggage. I mean, people not happy with rooms or something's wrong. I mean, you're dealing with all of it. Mm-hmm. And so it takes a lot, but great time, great opportunity to be able to build that relationship with our customers. And it's proved over the years to be there's an ROI there.
Yeah.
Can't put an exact dollar on it, but we know it works. We've had a ton of success. And the other thing too is we've looked at our competition. Not that we worry about them, but you hear about what other people do, competition, and just other people in our industry, how they do different things. And I would tell you right now, when you look at ours and you hear what they have and the struggles that they have, we don't have those. Yeah. And so ours are at a high level, in my opinion, compared to others that I've heard about, seen things of that nature, or even participated with. Ours, Tim does a phenomenal job. Ren does a phenomenal job. Destinations does a phenomenal job. Our customers do a phenomenal job because they make a huge difference too on that culture on those trips.
Absolutely.
And those experiences. So anyways, we have something that's pretty cool, pretty magical, to be honest with you. And that's why we keep investing money into this, is because we see the dividends and we see that return on investments. So as we continue forward, as long as we see that, we'll continue doing that. There might be a point that we don't see that. And guess what? I'm going to tell you, we'll be the first ones to say,
dial it back.
We'll question it and say, what's going on? What do we need to change? And if that means pulling it back, we pull it back. But
yeah, I do come from the marketing side. I was in sales and marketing for a long time. And, when we were first developing this whole process or this whole program, there's not a lot of like benchmarks that you can look for in the industry, because in our industry, honestly, wholesale distribution, this stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah.
A marketing effort of this magnitude doesn't exist. That's why we're unique. But when you're unique, you have no peers to really do comparables with. Now, in other industries, there are companies who will spend well over 10% of their revenue in marketing efforts. We do not spend anywhere near that.
No.
We started
Tim wishes we did.
We started with 0.1% of our revenue. That was our original budget. And we've gone up a little bit from there, but we do it incrementally as we see the dividends that Brandon referred to. So we're doing it as responsible as we can. So I hope you guys all realize that. That includes the swag. That includes all of that stuff. But Peaks Rewards, we do it as discretionarily as we can do it. We don't want to waste your money.
There's I'll just a quick 30-second. I know that we probably need to, work in our time limit here, but we're going through negotiations right now for a pretty big experience, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And there's an increase to, it's an experience that we've had, but we're looking to add on to it, and it's a significant increase. And I tell you that just to give you a little bit of insight, behind the curtain here, there's a lot of discussion internally about, okay, what does that mean? What else could we spend that money on? Is there a better thing that you could spend this on, Tim? Things of that nature. How do you plan on utilizing this, making sure it doesn't go to waste? We put kind of the screws to Tim and saying, how do you plan on managing this?
Yeah.
And how do you tell me why this is the best way to spend our money and not somewhere else? Answer these questions, these founding questions here. And Tim does a phenomenal job. And there's sometimes that Tim, I've had him say something and present something, and at the end he's just like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's talked himself out of it by the time he gets done presenting.
Or he doesn't see the value that he thought that it had, things of that nature. And we press him, and what about this? What about this? And he's very good to understand, hey, this is the best money spent. And then there's times that he sees something and that he's like, I'm on it, like this is the best thing. And we support him with that. And, but we still push him. We still question, because at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we're comfortable with that so that we can answer to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, this is why we do it.
Yeah.
So, and it has to make sense with where we're going and what we're doing with the company. So anyways, a lot of time and effort goes into this from all parties. There's a lot of discussion internally that goes around anything that we do. So I just want everyone to know that when we do make a decision, you might look at that and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they're doing that. Well, there's a reason to the madness.
Yeah.
It's not something that we flippant just said, sounds great, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
We do consider it and take time and slow the process down. Make sure that we're not just emotionally like, oh, that would be cool. It's, okay, what is it? How does it make our business better?
Yeah.
So
that, in a nutshell, everybody, is Peaks Rewards. So you're going to see a lot of management is kind of disappearing over the next month or so. That's because some of them are participating in those Peaks Rewards trips, and we've asked them to do that, and we're grateful for their sacrifice to do that. So that's kind of what's happening right now. So thank you for jumping in with us. Thanks for spending a little windshield time with us, and we'll see you down the road.
have a good one, everyone.
Thanks, guys.